I'm going ghost! Inky cosplay, yay! Anyway, now is not the time for Pac-Man themed fashionable hooded cloaks. It's time for Young Justice. Before I start, I want to talk once again about a previous video that I made, which was save YJNGLTAS. There's a link, I'll put a link somewhere to it. And I just wanted to say, one, keep doing that, keep tweeting, keep posting, keep fighting the power. And I also wanted to talk about a little project that I might be working on, where I'm going to try and make some Reach Peach and try and sell it in the city and maybe wear a cosplay or something. I have no idea, that's just a thing that I've been thinking, wow, that would be cool to do. And I probably should actually make a decision about it before I tell you guys. But if anything does happen with that, I'll be sure to mention it, possibly at the start of one of my reviews, just like this. This review is, of course, of the episode known as The Fix. I personally really like that they're kind of changing gears a bit, and I think it's really good in this episode. The first thing that we're kind of greeted with is Artemis kind of talking about the fact that she's almost having an identity crisis by having to assume a new identity and be a villain and be someone who, honestly, she's not really in real life. She's then called into Kelda's room by Black Manta, at which point we meet Simon, who Black Manta introduces and saying he's gonna know everything about him. Artemis is just like perfect. In fact, she's like perfect a lot of the time because like everything's kind of falling apart a little. And what she does is she actually drugs Simon and then makes up a story about like some kind of telepathic virus. I'm kind of excited to see what actually happens with Simon later, because honestly I'm a bit freaked out by him and I think at times he's a little shit. But I'm really curious to see exactly how everything unfolds, because I'm pretty confident what's going to happen is that he's going to come out of his drugged, almost catatonic state, because apparently it only lasts for a few weeks, and then he'll be like, and then we'll kind of have to see what happens from there, like whether or not he's just going to blab straight to Black Manta. I hope he doesn't, because that would be kind of boring. Green Beetle again from the previous episode, and Miss Martian is delving into his mind trying to find out if we can trust him. What I really like is that she doesn't actually do it because she's too nervous, and she just says, oh, he's fine, which kind of makes me question whether or not he's actually a good guy or not, because he could potentially just be putting on an act to seem all nice and innocent but might be working for the Reap. Lagan actually doesn't really understand what the hell's happening with Miss Martian, and I find it very curious because Superboy does and Lagan doesn't, which kind of shows, again, kind of the whole Romeo and Juliet thing that I think Super Martian is. Like, there's tons of, like, little obstacles, but you know that whatever the hell happens, they're gonna end up together, like, whatever. Lagan, being the asshole that he is, starts getting jealous and starts just getting really pissed off at Miss Martian and Superboy, and he's just like, what the hell's wrong with you? And like they talk together in a parking lot and then they get all pissed and I don't like Lagan. He doesn't even, he seems like he's not emotionally a boyfriend, he's just like, hey, can I just like hang on your shoulder a bit and tell you to do stuff? And just like, Miss Martian ends up getting abducted and Lagan gets knocked out. And that kind of leads to what ends up happening later is Superboy and Lagan fighting over Miss Martian, and he's like in a bed, and then Nightwing actually reveals the whole secret plot thing, which honestly made me go like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, why would you reveal, like, I know they're gonna find out at some point, but wouldn't you wait until basically one of them's figured it out and then go, yep, that kind of happened? Or hell, if you have to reveal it, why not tell everyone about it? Like, I mean, I guess Lagan's probably gonna be just all pissy and just blab his mouth off about it anyway, but I mean, like, what? Back at Manta HQ, Miss Martian is taken to Calda because Artemis has suggested this to Manta, and she's basically like, since it's a telepathic virus, we can't get any telepaths in except for the one who's actually done it, who might be able to. Miss Martian then takes Artemis in with her into Calda's mind, and I really like the whole psychological imagery of, it's not a case of his brain is essentially dead like everyone thought, but rather that his mind is so scrambled and all the memories are completely in pieces all over the place that he can't really use his brain and be able to, like, hold on to his memories in a way that kind of... It's kind of like if your brain was like a library and Miss Martian was just like a random kid just pulling books off the shelf. It's not the memories are dead or anything, but it's just that they're so disorganized that you can't really use them. And now they're finally getting to the stage where they're actually trying to repair everything, and it's very slow going. Like, after about 6 or 7 hours of work, they only get to the point where he can recognize his and then it's kind of revealed that Black Man is just gonna kill her, like, when she's done helping him, which kind of sucks. And the final thing that we have to talk about is that Green Beetle is finally being a mentor to Jaime. So basically he's like, oh, I just use mental, like, meditation and use my mind to kind of control the Scarab and not let the Scarab control me. Green Beetle ends up, like, lending, I don't know what it is, like, I think he uses shape-shifting powers or something to help Jaime with his Scarab. And then at the end he's just like, I'm free. To which I'm just like, I don't think that's very likely. If you look, for example, at the start of the previous episode where we had the Atom and we had Karen going into Jaime to try and destroy it from the inside, as you can probably imagine, I was just like, oh yeah, that's not gonna work because it's too... In a similar way, if you've just got Green Beetle shoving his fingers into Jaime's Scarab and it cures him, that also seems a bit too easy. So I have a couple of theories as to exactly what's going to happen. So the first thing that I'm thinking is that potentially it could relapse. Like, I mean, I'm seriously hoping that it's not, because that would just be boring if it was just like, I'm better, no I'm not. Second thing is that it could end up being life-threatening, because Green Beetle, not to mention the reach, and just there have been tons of references to the fact that it could kill him, Green Beetle was just like, oh, this could be a life-threatening procedure, I don't want to do it, but he ended up like being just like, do it! Third thing, which I think and hope is most likely, is the fact that Green Beetle isn't a friend by any means necessary. What the fuck? Green Beetle is not a friend by any means. Okay, that makes more sense. The reason that I think Green Beetle might not be a friend is because we had Miss M, who was supposed to be looking into his mind and kind of reading his memories to check to see if he was good, but of course she didn't go through with it because she doesn't want to delve into people's minds anymore, and that's not what she wants to do. So we don't really have any concrete reasons to trust him, because, like, for starters, most of the information he's given us is stuff that we already know, like the fact that Reach is evil and wants to take over people. They gave him, like, oh, there's a mitochondrial blah 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 blah, but that's not really something that's so helpful that you can go like, oh, he's definitely not with the Reach. Plus he has a beetle, which is part of the Reach, and he's like, oh, I've conquered it, but, like, I mean, we don't have any proof. So the way that I think it might happen is that he isn't a friend, he's a foe. He's with the Reach, and the fact that he's tried to cure him has actually made it a lot worse, and either Jaime's just like, oh, I'm free, either because he doesn't, like, either because, I don't know, like, the Scarab's booting up to completely screw his mind, or he doesn't know, or, probably most likely, is that he's been completely mind-controlled, and he's just saying that to make sure that Jaime doesn't get suspicious or whatever. So yeah, I'm not really certain that Jaime's going to be going very well in this season. I like him so much. He's like third favourite character. He's one of my favourite characters, and he's possibly going to be killed and villain, and I'm not happy. But one way or another, this was a good episode, as all of the episodes have been. And that is why you should save Young Justice and Green Lantern, the animated series. Anyway, guys, keep fighting online for Season 3, and I will see you later, my fellow astronauts.